of the silence. Good morning. I love to ring that and get it right, and so everybody takes it, it's wonderful attention. Anyhow, good morning. My name is Gene Langille, and it is my pleasure to welcome you to the Golden Gate Center for Spiritual Living. And good morning again. Before we continue, if you have any kind of an electronic device in your possession, would you please attend to its demise? Or turn it off, or something. Okay. I want to call your attention to something, the Science of Mind magazine. This is the April issue, and I've been reading it, and I've been reading several things second and third times. And so I just wanted to share something with you this morning on that. And it is on page, so that when you get your copy, you can look at this on page 30. And on the front of it says, one with the universe. And so anyhow, being one with the universe requires listening. We must love ourselves fully, knowing our life experiences are a setup to dive into self-discovery. When we immerse in the truth of our being, everything is a leaping off point to become who we are meant to be. By seeing the possibilities within ourselves, we can see the possibilities in others. We are extensions of every living being. And then just the last little thing, and this is on page, so you can find this, is by the noted comedian Robin Williams. And it says, "Spring is nature's way of saying, let's party." Anyhow, call your attention to the music being played, and Bodie will take over, and that'll be followed by the morning prayer by Reverend Carol Ryan. Okay? Take it away, Bodie.
Let's all stand up, come on. One, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life. And my heart's open wide. Yes, I'm only for God. No more trouble, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only for God. Sing it again. I release and I let go. Let the Spirit run my life. Now my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only. One last time. I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life. And my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free. Yes, I'm only for God. Woo, good morning.
Blessed, blessed be. And in this exuberant beginning, let me share that Reverend Carol is speaking at the Oakland Center for Spiritual Living this morning. So we are all connected. And as we know this connection in spirit, we direct our attention with all of this energy and enthusiasm and vitality. We direct it within to the source of all that is, the infinite love that guides and provides for the exuberant bursting forth of nature. And this is our nature. And so as I speak this word in spiritual mind treatment, I invite you to join with me as I affirm and know that there is one power, one presence, one infinite source. And this source is present in the beauty, the abundance, the light, and the love, sparkling throughout all of creation. I am one with this. I am its beloved. And in this divine connection, I am the expression, unique, unrepeatable. And as I know this for myself, I know this for each and every beloved on this planet, each and every beloved in this community. And it is in this divinity, this humanity, that I claim my good right here, right now, in perfect health, divine expression, bountiful abundance, the love of all my relations. And I accept that shift in consciousness that allows me to be a great receiver as I am also a giver, to give forth of that which is mine to share in this world. And I give thanks for the healing that is occurring even now as I experience my oneness, experience my unity greater than ever before. And as I claim this for myself, I know it is also available to each and to all. And so I give thanks for the fulfillment of this word flowing into expression in glorious ways this day, this moment, this very breath, this heartbeat. I entrust it to the law of life and allow it to be. And so it is. Blessed be. Well, welcome once again. Welcome to all you bright, beautiful beings. And we are blessed this morning with our resident metaphysical musician, Bodhi, and our guest, Helen Bernard Gray. Welcome, welcome. Helen started singing as a child, and she never stopped. She's recorded 4 albums with her sister Phyllis as the Duncan Sisters, and she's worked throughout U.S. and Europe. She performs at Cafe Trieste in Berkeley every first Saturday, and we're blessed to have her with us today.
She's also directing the 60-voice choir for the Holmes Institute graduation in June, if any of you are going to be there.
Wow.
Helen Bernard Gray.
Thank you so much.
My soul wells up with hallelujahs. A lightning strike my pounding heart, a breaching wail, a shooting star gives testimony that you are and my soul wells up with hallelujahs. Oh, praise now all these mighty words. There is no language where you can be heard. Your song goes out to all the earth. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. O great moon and a sparrow's wings, O thunder's boom and Saturn's rings, unveil the Creator wide. Praise now all these mighty words. There is no language where you can be heard. Your song goes out to all the earth. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. A pulse of life within my wrist, a falling snow, a rising mist. There is no higher praise than this. And my soul wells up, yes, my soul wells up. Oh, my soul wells up with hallelujah. Oh, praise now all these mighty words. There is no language where you can be heard. Your song goes out to all the earth. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Thank you.
Thank you so much for blessing us with your music. Good morning. I'm Reverend Sarah Hargrave, staff minister at this wonderful spiritual community. Our theme for this year is taken from the writings of Ernest Holmes, and it's called What We Believe, and it's a summary of this philosophy. And this month we're working on the statement, we believe that heaven is within us, and we experience it to the degree that we become conscious of it. And we have a wonderful altar by Janet this morning, and also Janet and Corinne collaborated on this altar. The butterflies symbol transformation. The Buddha is peaceful stillness. The flowers and flowing fabric represent the natural unfoldment of life with ease. And of course, our word for today is ease, and Victoria's message today is, let it be as easy as it wants to be. Victoria Castle is the author of The Trance of Scarcity, and we used her book for the stewardship program in 2006. How many of you have heard her speak or attended one of her workshops? Okay. She travels internationally and teaches, leading retreats and making mischief, she says, all to help people to be fully awake and enlivened in their world. She will bring her mischief to her workshop this afternoon, Trading Struggle for Ease, and she will tell you a little bit more about that in her talk today. But give a warm welcome for Victoria Castle.
What a beautiful sight. A room full of deviants. Are you not? Are you not here by choice? Well, to deviate from the norm and the status quo is to be awake and to make choices. So I would add positive deviance to that, but deviance nevertheless, that's what brings us here. And so I'm going to ask you to do something, which is, I want you to squeeze down. I want you to really, really, really tighten everything. Okay, tighten it. Now, are you willing to do this until I finish talking? No. It's just what I would have expected. Good. Because here's what happens. Many of us are doing it all the time and nobody's asking us to. You know that place, that just chronic tightness and strain and tension and striving. I mean, that's the part that I know oh so well. So it produces in us a state or a way of being. And that state is made up of, to simplify, of two components. One is basically the stories we tell ourselves, the narrative, the thought loops, what runs in our head, the repetitive. And the other is how we literally shape our lives around those stories. So this is a kind of shaping. This is a kind of shaping. That this story and soma, the word somatic, comes from the Greek, which really talked about the living self as a whole being, not just from the chin up or from the chin down. So to embody something, the only way to embody something is to do it over and over again, right? You drive a car now, you probably don't even pay as much attention as you should, but for many of us, driving, we know how to do that. We don't have to think to make it happen. So what we practice, we become over time. So it's worth looking at, what am I practicing? And for me, striving was my practice for most of my life. Striving, straining, being good, do it right. I held myself as a project. The endless self-improvement project. So for just a moment, just to kind of look how story and soma, just clench down for a minute. I'm just going to ask you to do it for a moment. So clench again. And then say to yourself softly or just quietly, life is so easy. Maybe, are you believing that? Not so much. All right, so while you're sitting there, just relax, shake it off, let yourself rest against the chair, take a deep breath, and once again, life is so easy. So it's not a trick we're playing on our brain. There's a coherence in the system, and it's always truing to something. So being mindful of what our patterns are is really useful. And gosh, I don't know, 20 years ago or so, my husband Tim, who will be co-leading with me in the workshop this afternoon, was looking at his self-talk, and he realized it was not really great. And somebody gave him a book about how to speak to yourself, or whatever it was, and the instruction was to write your affirmations or your statements on a 3x5 card, and then stand in front of a mirror and say them over and over to yourself with conviction while you looked in your eyes. So Tim had his stack, and he was standing in our bedroom because we had a full-length mirror, and on the bed was our dog Ginger, where she was most of the time. And so Tim takes out his cards and goes, I'm decisive and take action easily. I'm in charge of my life. I move with dispatch. And he notices behind him that Ginger's eyes, her ears have gone back, and she's skulking out of the room. And Tim was awake enough to think, if that's scaring the dog, what am I hearing? So he set as his goal that he would be able to say his affirmations, and not only would Ginger stay in the room, she would wag her tail. And so this is what it evolved to. I am strong and powerful. Yes, I am. And I can report it was way more effective. Our patterns, our unconscious, habituated ways of being, are they serving us, or are they contrary to really the life we want to be living? And that's the piece about struggle, is for most of us, we've gotten it's a culturally condoned practice to struggle. It's virtuous to struggle. Get in there, get after it, strain, make it happen, push, get it through. Now, I don't mean effort as struggle. There are many things that we effort. We effort when we're working out. We effort when we're learning something. It's the way in which we engage is the place to watch. Am I coming from this place as opposed to have something to learn here? So what's the best state for me to be in? And struggle fundamentally is a practice of separation. It's a practice of duality. There's me and there's the way it should be, or there's me and spirit, as opposed to I am part of the infinite and will always be. And the thought of let it be as easy as it wants to be, like, excuse me, I'm not a slacker. You know, we don't hold ease as a virtue in many cases. Have any of you ever done improvisational comedy? Well, I have had the pleasure of being in an improv troupe for the past 3 or 4 years. And the only way to be good at improv is to relax. Because you can't have your next line all ready to go, because you have to hear what's being said and then respond to it. And I had somebody that teased me once, because we meet once a week for practice, and she said, what are you rehearsing? You can't know anything until you're there. And I said, what we're practicing is to be at ease, to get comfortable with not knowing what's coming next and still trust that we'll have something when it does. Practicing being at ease doesn't seem like something that would really be necessary, but for a lot of us, it is. It's also scary because I'm not in control. I'd like to know ahead of time. Tim and I drove down from Whidbey Island in Washington, where we live, and I'm a very good backseat driver. I actually excel at it. There's just not a big appetite for it from anyone. But I would be, okay, you know, you should get in the right lane now, because So I got to see yet again that tendency. I don't invite it, it's just there. And if I can't see it, it's got me. So being able to know how we operate. And I think fundamentally for a lot of people, because I've been exploring this and sharing this with people for a couple of decades, we don't trust ease. We don't really go, oh yeah, ease, that would be the way. That would be the way to see the way to go. That would be the way to succeed. That would be the way to accomplish what I want to. That ease and flow, the flow that's constant, we keep getting out of the flow and start hammering our little thing on the side rather than really letting ourselves stay with it. And so what do? We come to church, we read the books, we're in study groups, and still we're secretly struggling. We're secretly pushing. So to totally relax You know what the word relax means literally? It means the abatement of strain. It doesn't mean become goo. It just means let go of the constant tension. It doesn't mean unconscious or anything else, but simply be here in a different state, a fluid state. And it's our state that determines our experience. It provides the lens that we look through, the fabric that we move in. So what's my state in any given moment? And the more that I've studied this, and I've studied, Tim and I have studied somatics, this whole element, which is now becoming much more in the mainstream, but many years ago it was like, what is that? What does the body have to do with anything? It's how do I habitually live in my skin? What goes on here? Is it congruent for me? When I wrote The Trance of Scarcity, first of all, let me be clear. I wrote The Trance of Scarcity because my expertise is in struggle. It's not in ease. But I knew it was available. And my definition of abundance is living in the world with ease. It doesn't have anything about a dollar sign or any of that. It's, am I at ease in my world? Or is there some sense of combat or push or must overcome? And for me, it was about being over-responsible about pretty much everything. What I've come to find by more and more being in the practice of ease, like think about yourself when you're in nature, or if you live with an animal and you're with them. It is when we have the least agenda, it's actually when we're most present, when we're most available for whatever's going on, when we're really open and available to the inspiration that comes when you go, oh, I was taking a walk and I just had this great idea, and that's going to take care of the situation. Have you ever had one of those? It's not when we're working the problem. Available to be inspired. For most of us, that's a state we would like to hold more and more. I remember when I was working with a doctor with a naturopath, and at my first visit with her, I was just kind of filling her in on how I was and what I was addressing, and she said, it's clear you have really done your personal work. And I use some things, like in this case, essential oils, that could help you. You don't have to do it all yourself. And honestly, my reaction was, is that allowed? You see how deep the programming is in here, right? To let myself be helped. So, and she just went on to say essential oils are concentrated plant essences, they're life intelligence, they're different blends that can help with different things. And I thought, well, that would be okay. And they've been profound. But the profound part is that I made a shift from believing I had to do it to myself to making myself available, to getting back in that flow. And a friend of mine who went to see John of God in Brazil, she said one of the things she heard most often from the workers or the people there was, there are out-of-work angels just waiting for you to say yes. And of course, I get the image of a bunch of guys leaning on a 1954 Chevy, and they got their cigarettes rolled up in their sleeve and going, she let you in yet? No, haven't heard a thing. What about you? Not yet. Out-of-work angels, they're just waiting for your consent. And those angels come in all kinds of forms, the right conversation, essential oils, the diet that you're on, whatever it may be. There's so much waiting to support us, but it does require our consent, because they're going to honor what our choice is. So what am I choosing? Perpetual struggle. Thank you. It's much more virtuous. I won't get anywhere, but in the end, I won't get any points for it either. Ease, to be open, available, fluid. You might even say porous, so that things can come in. And ideas can come and thoughts can come, and they can also go. In some ways, it's a meditative state. If I let the thoughts go by, I don't trap them and take them on and work through it with them. It's like, keep flowing down the river. So it's more of being the state of the river than the state of the dam, perhaps. So one more time, I'm going to ask you to do the clinch. See, there's value in doing it consciously, so we start to recognize it when we do it unconsciously. So let yourself clinch. Think about something that matters to you that's not resolved. And then simply let the clinch go. Let your breath open. Let your spine get long again. Let you feel your feet on the floor. My desire is still my desire, but from here I have a different relationship with what's possible. To me, that's the invitation of Spirit all the time. That's what the workshop this afternoon is going to be about. What are some of the practices that return me to this natural state of flow, rather than this unfortunate habit I've taken on called struggle? And yes, this is very overt. Most of us do it much more subtly. I'm fine. No, really, I'm fine. And we do it almost trying to trick ourselves into believing that we're at ease. I think for many of us, it's rare that we find the at ease state. Even when we go to sleep, how many of us clench our jaws, wear mouth guards, all of those kind of things? Because it's almost to the point now where we don't know how to turn that off, how to withdraw our energy and reroute ourselves. So being a deviant is a well-being practice. Whoa, is this useful to me? Is the way I'm speaking to myself helpful or harmful? Is the demands that I'm making, is the way I constantly push, is me scanning for threat, is that helpful or harmful? Simply given what I care about, not like is it right or wrong. Is it useful to me, given who I want to be? I've been a consultant in organizations for about 20 years, and what I would see over and over is people that were resigned and apathetic, but were still showing up for the paycheck, basically. And I remember talking to one man who was just, he just thought everything was stupid. And of course, he was in this training going, this is stupid. And I said, it sounds like you're really unhappy here. Why don't you leave? And he said, oh, no, I got retirement, but I've only got 7 years until I get it. And I thought, you're going to live like that for 7 years? I doubt it. Because he was basically shutting down his life force. So when we talk about bliss tolerance, like, I want it great, bring it on. I could win the lottery. I'd be great with it. Really? What I noticed, if people tend to struggle or go numb, they have a high tolerance for numbness or struggle. They conversely, if you think of this as scales, have a low tolerance for bliss and aliveness. It's too much. It's too messy. So if I want more bliss in my life, then I need to reduce my tolerance for the clench, for the squeeze, for the retraction, so that life can flow in me, and then literally build the capacity. That's why I call it bliss tolerance. How good can you stand it, really? Not just conceptually, but organically. Are you a good receiver? Can you really let it come in and touch you and inspire you and make you new? So if we're going to retire from the struggle, as in fashion as it may be, we need a place to go. And it's the place that's always waiting for us, resting back into spirit. It's not more complicated than that. It's a big shift, and it requires some repetition and some conscious shifting to do it. But we're not asked to be radically different people. It's just in this moment. If the chair you're sitting in was the universe inviting you, could you give yourself to the chair more? It's that. And that's about as far as the journey is, really. It's not trudge up to the mountaintop. It's rest into where you are and what is always, always true about all of us. There's no distance. There's no journey. And the blessing is certainly for us as individuals. But when we are in that state, you know what we do? We radiate out. And then others around us can find it too, so that we get to be a conduit for spirit by letting ourselves be at ease. This afternoon in the workshop, we'll have a good time. We'll play with these things. We won't work at them. We'll play with them and investigate them and find a different rhythm. And there is a registration table somewhere in the back. So sign up so that we know you're coming. And it starts at 12:30, so you have time for lunch. Did I say all the announcements I was supposed to say? They're good. Okay, Joe's giving me the heads up. So with that, let's end with letting the breath come in. So you don't have to work even to let it in. You allow it to come in. And then it leaves. And because your body's highly intelligent, it lets the next breath come in. Let it be as easy as it wants to be. Bless you.
Thank you, Victoria, and I wonder if you would grace us with receiving a blessing from our community. This is a Golden Gate tradition, so you get to be at ease and receive and increase your bliss tolerance just a bit. So, beloved community, let's extend our hands and with open hearts, we extend our love and blessing to this divine messenger, this angel who has received her assignment and is fulfilling it with grace and ease. We see you, Victoria. Please repeat with me. We see you, Victoria.
We see you, Victoria.
You radiate your message. And we have received the gift of your presence this day. And by your light, we are transformed. Thank you. Bless you.
But when I close takes time. And when the sunset comes, my prayer will be this one, that you might pick me up and notice that I smoother in your hands. Sometimes raging wild, and sometimes swollen high. Never once I know this river dry. The deepest part of you is where I want to stay. The sharpest edges walk away, but when I close my eyes and rushing by, I know that time brings in your hands. Rolling river God, little stones are smooth. The water passes through.
Helen Bernard Gray.
We're so glad you kept on singing. So, beloveds, we have a takeaway today, which is very, very easy to remember, except when we forget. Life does not have to be hard. Let's say that together. Life does not have to be hard. So that's what you say to your friends when you're out hiking later and having coffee. You say, well, what did you do today? What message did you receive at church? This is it. Life does not have to be hard. Yeah. So now is the time for our conscious contribution. Acknowledging the source of our supply, we give as we receive with gracious gratitude. I call the ushers forth, and we will have some lovely music. And as you prepare your gift, you might have filled out a little pledge card, or perhaps your contribution is debited from your bank account once a month. But even so, take this moment to put your hand on your heart, or if you have cash you're putting in the basket or a check, infuse it with your love, your personal essence of gracious gratitude, giving and receiving, and allowing that receiving to be easy, as is the giving. Thank you. So we bless these gifts and know that infused with the love of this community and the acknowledgement of the infinite source from whence all blessings flow, we know that this money goes forth to bless, to prosper, to invisibly touch the lives of those who receive it and returns to us multiplied with the blessing. Thank you, blessed be. So Sarah will join me for the announcements. We have so much good news to share that two of us are going to be sharing the podium.
Well, first of all, we want to remember that Victoria's workshop is this afternoon, and you've had a wonderful taste, and there was more to come. So join her for at the Learning Center. If you don't know where the Learning Center is, go to the table at the back, and they'll tell you how to get there. Starts at 12:30 and ends at 3.
Aha, I'm going to look at your notes because you have bigger type font than I do. So we have a new fun way to connect as community, to share food and raise funds for our operating expenses, and that's Gourmets for God. Now, let's see, Corinne, you're going to be at the events table today. So if you'd like to offer your home as a place and a divine menu for people to enjoy, folks will bid on opportunities to be at your table. So today is the day to sign up for that. Yes?
We have wonderful classes coming up. Reverend Carol is teaching Roots on Thursday evening and letting go of anger, guilt, and fear on Wednesday days. And Carol Durkin is teaching Quick Start. Gail, where are you? Oh, standing up over there. And it's a wonderful introduction to this philosophy and a great refresher if you've taken it before. And Posey is going to make a short announcement.
Hi. Woo! I'll be teaching this thing called You, which is a wonderful class for both beginners and longtime students of truth. If there's anything in your heart that's yearning to break through maybe a glass ceiling of limitation, of struggle, to that fully inspired, empowered, glorious, magnificent being that you truly are, please come see me right after service at the Ed Team table, and then also join me at Victoria's wonderful workshop to awaken from that trance of scarcity into the stepping into that circle of a fully awake, alive life. And then come join me in my class and take advantage of the early bird pricing special.
I know. Can you tell that Posey has done some improv?
And finally, Reverend Mary Murray Shelton is teaching 7 principles that make marriage work. And it's for committed couples, married or not, straight or same-sex, and sign-ups are at the education table.
I made a tiny mistake. It's Mary Cosgrove who's going to be representing Gourmets for God. Yes? Okay. And my next announcement does involve Corinne, and that is Reverend Carol. Now, one of the things that she is very, very much noted for in our movement is being the embodiment of ritual, really finding ways to celebrate the turn of the seasons in a way that is meaningful in our homes, in our lives, in our workplaces. And she's known for this out in the world. Rarely have we had opportunities to learn kind of the skill behind the craft of creating rituals. So she is offering a Beltane ritual workshop on Friday, May 2nd, and it's very important for her to be able to plan ahead how many people are coming and prepare materials for you. So today is the day to make that commitment known, and you can sign up at the events table, and Corinne will take your registration. What? We must have 3 or more paid participants in order for it to be a go, and I think we have some already, so you could make that known today, and we will be a go on that. Thanks for that reminder.
So now, if you'll join me for the benediction, just open your hearts and minds. May the eternal presence, which makes all things possible, lighten your heart and grant you ease. May joy and right action accompany you on your path each day, and may Spirit guide your way. This is the traveling mic today.
Yes. So the practitioners who are standing here in front of you are available for prayer today. The prayer table is in the back of the room, and the rest of the practitioners in our community are simply surrounding the room with love. And now we stand for the affirmation closing song, I believe. Here's the affirmation. I step into the flow of life with ease, knowing that my source is my supply of all good. As I release my need to do God's job, I find a steady stream of energy and resourcefulness waiting to flow to me. I am so blessed.